evening, all. Welcome to another Fast League race here on SpeedGaming. I'm Excalibur. I'm joined tonight by Tracy M. We're going to watch the last co-op spoiler log race of the week between Shack Tool's Digging Game, as raced by Osse and piloted by Azure, versus But We're Buddies with Fantallis racing under the direction of Locke. We should be good to go shortly, as soon as our restreamer hits the button.
Yeah, this should be an interesting one. We do see a bit of a disparity in records here. Shack Tool's Dig Game is 6-1 on the season, but we're buddies still looking for their first win. But of course, that's why we play the games. It is going to be a tough one for them. So we have Osse is the one racing this time. He did win the Spoiler Log tournament over the summer, Azure also competing in that tournament. So a pretty strong team on that end, but we'll see what Fantallis and Locke can bring to the table this time. In the last race, they did have Osse and Azure had switched places, and we had Locke piloting Chelsea X Lynn, and Chelsea put a really good showing in. So we'll see what happens this time.
I find it interesting that the two things that teams seem to do is either use the same co-pilot for both the other runners, or swap places depending on what their preferences are.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, if you have a really good pilot, it makes a lot of sense to keep the same pilot for both races. And if you just have two people that, in the case of Shack Tool's Dig Game, two people that are just very familiar at doing spoiler log races, not just in terms of routing, but also in terms of just the low percent loadouts you typically end up on, it makes sense for them to just switch places.
Yeah, it's. I've heard a couple of the racers say that actually the person doing the running, if they're a really, really good spoiler player, is sort of using their pilot kind of like human Siri, just, where's this, where's that, where's the next thing, and doing a fair fraction of the routing themselves. And we're off.
And it looks like we're seeing Osse starting out as Sanctuary, just going to pick up Piece of Heart and some 20 rupees on Fantallis side of Link's house. At this point, you just open those chests because it's really way too early for your pilot to have seen anything.
Though, interestingly, Fantallis immediately quitting out says to me that even in those 20 seconds, his pilot found something.
Nice bomb drop there from the guard there.
Yeah, which and the prize packs again are also in the log, though. And given how straight he went for that, it might have been read out, as is this looter crab bombs. But we're buddies doing the Houlihan start, which is it's something to do for 90 seconds while the pilot looks stuff up.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of runners do that this week. Just give your pilot a chance to look at things. But Osse doing a whole bunch of tree pulls, farming a bunch of bombs.
The red rupee tree pull is nice. So yeah, it's good to see early bombs, early cash. All of that extremely early game stuff readily available.
Okay, now we're going to start actually going and looking at items. We are going into Blind's hut.
And this is where the pilot is often looking first thing. Is there anything in Blind's hut?
There's something here.
Well, and there's something there.
That moon pearl is pretty important.
But, Azure has gotten far enough into the log to tell Osse not to bother picking up those other two things.
Yep,
Small key to Swamp.
Small key to Swamp Palace. Looks like Swamp Palace is a crystal, so we definitely need that small key. The one small key that you always have to worry about, because you can't even get into Swamp Palace without it. Looks like we're going to head over to the well. Meanwhile, Fantallis going over to Escape.
You very occasionally see the play for that first chest in Swamp, but not today.
Okay, so it looks like we're picking up a whole lot of money. Okay, could be bottle vendor is a shovel. So what's behind that shovel?
Certainly something. Fantallis off to go do the front of escape with only 10 bombs, which implies there's something worthwhile down here.
Yeah, bomb escape is not easy. So it must be something pretty important that he really wants to get right away. It's not just the first chest here, he's going ahead and killing this guard.
With fine strats. There are slightly faster setups than that, but if you weren't around for a few years ago when it was all standard all the time, you might not have quite as much practice as some of the runners do.
Yeah, I kind of miss the old standard seeds where it was like you're just given a weapon, something to get through escape, and sometimes it was the 10 bomb jump. Okay, let's find out what's under this shovel. A glove, yeah, that's important.
It's a little bit surprising that that's getting beelined. Either there's something really good under a rock, or it might just be the first thing that Azure dug up in the spoiler log. It's something useful to do.
Well, yeah, and it's that Kakariko spot that Osse was in. Azure can tell him to do all those certain things, and then he can, start looking at the log beyond that. We are going to see the back of escape though, and it was a sword in the escape, so we might see Osse go for that fairly soon.
A sword is certainly a weapon, a thing to go get without very many weapons.
Yeah, Osse wanted that magic drop.
Question from chat. There's an open voice channel between the pilot and the runner. They talk back and forth. And in fact, the pilot is also allowed to look at the restream. However, the runner is not allowed to look at the log.
No. Oh, yeah, no, the runner's not allowed. Yeah, that's true. I was going to say the runner is allowed to look at the restream if they want, but typically they won't. If someone's going to look, it's going to be the pilot.
Yeah. So if you're running a spoiler log race, what items are you looking for first? What's worth beelining?
Certainly a weapon. As we see both runners having to do bomb escape, that's never fun. Also like to find things like, the gloves, the hookshot, the hammer, my Dark World access, so the Moon Pearl. Certain keys. So, it's a whole lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, but the keys are only necessary. Like, you only have to beeline the keys if they lock something important, right? Whereas,
right, of course,
the sooner you get the boots, the better. The sooner you get that first sword, the better.
Yeah, and go ahead.
And knowing which items you can put off is actually super important, right? So, say the Turtle Rock Big Key is somewhere super terrible. That's mostly fine in a lot of circumstances. Here's the really slick,
very nice slick bomb strat. I don't know.
Bomb strat
picks up the map.
And so, sort of both in terms of which item, what order you look things up in, and what order you actually go do things, understanding which things are important to get quickly versus just important to get. Important to get sooner rather than later is important.
Yeah, and the interesting note on this pendant crystal layout, we do have Turtle Rock and Pod as pendants, and those are the most key-heavy dungeons that we have in the game. So it may very well be that our small key searches aren't going to even be that bad.
Unless, of course, there's something deep in Turtle Rock.
Or Pod.
Yeah. Very deep in either one of them.
Yeah, in fact, it's kind of funny because Osse and Azure have done a lot of these. I think they've yet to have a crystal turtle rock in their practice and their play. So, okay, so Fantallis is going to go dig up his glove now. We'll have to see where he heads next. Osse, let's see where you are. Where are you headed next? Maybe to the mountain?
The other thing to think about is that which items are, affect the routing decisions, right? So if the flute is somewhere, it might be worth going and getting it just because it saves you having to do something else.
Yep.
Otherwise.
Yeah, that's another one that people like to get the flute, getting the flute early, getting the boots early. Those are common plays as well. Just because they just mirror as well. They just help your movement all around.
Yeah, it's worth going out of your way to get them.
And I'm both going to do the old man rescue. Now, Fantallis did not pick up that lamp, though. He may choose not to pick it up at all.
I missed where that was. Was it somewhere?
I think it was it was escape. And we get a mirror, so definitely need to rescue the old man, because we'll need that for Swamp Palace.
Oh, and the mirror is a super great item to have. And it being on the way up to Hera, on the way up the mount, is convenient. Given that Osse's gotten it out already, I expect we're seeing either a Spectacle Rock or a Hera play here.
And chat pointing out, of course, that's a vanilla mirror.
The odds of there being at least one vanilla item in the game is actually pretty high. Especially in Peace Enemy, where there's sort of more items to get surprised by.
Okay, we can do a very early Tower of Hera play. This is a pendant, so may not actually need to finish the dungeon. Oh, Dead Rock.
Dead Rock. So,
Yep.
people say there's no RNG in spoiler races. I think that Dead Rock is the last thing you get to complain about.
A hammer. Yep. I guess that's all we're getting out of here. That is an important item. And that does give us Dark World access.
Yep.
This may be a Hype Cave play from Osse.
It's not always the case that beelining Dark World access is necessary, but with both the mirror and Dark World access available relatively quickly, this should allow for some pretty efficient routing.
Yeah, we do see a little bit of divergence here, though. Fantallis is going to go to East Death Mountain. It's like Paradox Cave.
Going to East Death Mountain on foot, which you might have tried to put that off until you had a hook shot or a boots. So we'll see what
Mitts in Hype Cave. There we go. So we have all the good Dark World access. And it might be that the reason why Osse and Azure chose to do this first rather than beeline it over to East Death Mountain like Fantallis is maybe he goes back there and does East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain at the same time.
Yeah. Jack Reed, the pilots are Azure for Shactwell's Digging Game, who are on 18 points. That's what the number there means. And Locke for But We're Buddies, who have yet to win a race this season. However, this is not their first rodeo in the Invitational League, so they're experienced players. I don't know if they've gotten bad matchups or bad luck, but they know what they're doing.
Okay, we do see a Turtle Rock small key and a Skullwood small key. Don't actually need any Skullwood small keys, but it does if you have one. If there's something in the front of Skullwoods, it can avoid having to drop down the hole and not being able to get out.
It also, if it's not too far out of the way, I think the first Skullwood's small key, I can talk this evening, I promise, does save a little bit of time, right?
Yeah, if it's not too far out of the way, because what happens is if you need to get something other than in the back or if in that front area, the only other way to get it is to go ahead and fall down to the hole. And we no longer have a guaranteed small key for Skullwoods in the pinball room. So if there's no small keys there, which in Key Sandy you can expect there won't be, you'll get stuck. And the only way out is to save and quit.
If you need to.
Interesting that we're dipping Thieves Town without a Thieves Town big key, though. I wonder if this is going to be vanilla or French vanilla.
Might be one in here. You never know.
Or it could be a Canis Amaria in here. That's kind of important. We'll need that.
That was the item I was about to look up.
And Desert Palace big key. Okay.
And this is a good time to bring up that the reading the spoiler log is not completely trivial. Remembering if you're a dedicated Rendo player, which chest in Thieves Town is which is not completely trivial.
Okay, so a Turtle Rock big key.
So that implies...
That tells me we're going into Turtle Rock. Because of course we're going into Turtle Rock when it's a pendant.
That only locks 6 spots, but those 6 spots... which is quite a few actually for a big key.
Hook shot.
We're going to see the bottom of Turtle Rock at some point today.
Yeah, I feel like Turtle Rock's going to be a play relatively soon. I feel like the runners have been collecting stuff to do that. And I feel like especially on the Azure Osse side, we're doing a cleanup of stuff so we can just do one trip to East Death Mountain and hit everything we need at the same time.
Bit of a goof grab on the hook shot there.
Because we did see a dig game Turtle Rock small key on the first dig, which is always nice.
That's some good randomization there.
Looks like Osse wants a little extra money, not getting any big 20s. Always get the big 20s when you don't need them. Oh, there's one.
This, of course, is another very minor source of RNG. And we're ready.
Okay, now we're going over towards East Death Mountain on Osse's side. If you steal the Poke Key, the small keys he has will get him through everything but to Trinex. I doubt we're going to Trinex. We don't have a Fire Rod, though, so that's always going to be fun.
Neither a Fire Rod or an Ice Rod makes Trinex seem unlikely, unless...
yeah, I'm just thinking the Pokies, although you can use the Ether can be used on the Pokies, which to very good effect. I forget what race that was, but somebody was doing that.
And the Ether animation is quite fast.
Yeah. That was a bit of a differentiator in the last race. Azure went up to Turtle Rock to get the stuff he needed with the Fire Rod and got through a lot faster. Chelsea, with just a Fighter Sword to fight off the Pokies, had a lot of trouble.
Knowing the I guess not just low percent, but sort of odd percent strats is very useful.
Yep.
Osse picking up flippers, which we're going to need sooner or later.
And in fact, speaking of the flippers, I think Fantallis is heading into Swamp Palace. So we'll see what's in there.
There's one more Turtle Rock key. Might save Osse having to go mess about with the Poke.
Saving and quitting? Okay, so not going to go and do the rest of the Turtle Rock play yet. Okay. And apparently doesn't want to get anything in the dark part of Death Mountain.
I'm kind of surprised by that. Both.
Yeah, I am too.
From what they've been doing, and I've been spoiling myself because I really like thinking about how to run these seeds. And I know it's there, and I'm kind of surprised they're leaving it behind. So.
Okay, Fantallis, meanwhile, taking a death early in Swamp Palace, that's never good.
It's much better than taking a death late in Swamp.
Yeah, well, it's always... Yeah, Swamp Palace is a weird dungeon. It's kind of, it doesn't feel like it does a lot of damage, but a lot of those enemies do, they do little bits and pieces of damage a lot of the time, and it kind of death by 1,000 cuts.
Well, you just walk through the fire snake, because whatever. But you can't really whatever your way through dungeons when you have 4 hearts and green mail.
No.
And it looks like Osse is right behind. So whatever's in here, both teams think is worth a aggressive trip to, even with relatively low percent kit. For instance.
No, they can full clear it. It is a crystal.
Yeah.
Fighter Sword Argus, not the most fun fight ever, but definitely doable, and these runners will know how.
Yeah, but how many seconds more slower is Fighter Sword Argus than Master Sword Argus or Fighter Argus?
The difference between Master Sword and Fighter Sword actually isn't that significant, since the strat is basically the same. You grab the puffs and do sword spins. But for the difference between either one of those and a Tempered Sword, yeah, that's when it gets significant. Looks like Fantallis is not going to do the bomb diver down, so it gives Osse a bit of advantage since he's already picked up a red cane, so he'll just be able to do a regular diver down. Also, Fantallis down to 1 heart again. So he may just pick up the skull pots here just to get the hearts.
And of course, with 1 heart, no diver downing with bombs for him.
Oh, definitely not.
Oh.
Oof.
Remember you were saying
that's a much worse place to take a death in a dungeon.
It's your fault. That's and these races only take an hour or so. So execution errors like that can often make the difference between winning and losing. And you don't have the rando gods to pray to save you after execution.
Yep, because everyone knows where all the items are. Again, Osse doing the typical strat that the vanilla runners do, where they do it on the left side there instead of on the right. It's a little bit faster, and a bombos. One of the bad things about that version of the diver down is you can't use it if you're going to do left side swamp, but we're not doing left side swamp here, so we don't care. And a bow, that's important. This is a bow required seed, Eastern Palace being a crystal.
And with cane, cane, hook, bow,
yep.
That's a lot of the sort of handy items to have around. We're still looking for some blutes and a flute. But...
And I should clarify a little bit. Bow is always logically required. It's just not always hard required. And Osse was one of the first people. I think he may have been even the one that found the mimic clip that you can do in GT. So he's definitely familiar with that strat if it came up. But it's not going to come up here.
Looks like we are getting spin strat, Argus. Missing a couple of hook shots there as the number of puffs goes down. It gets harder and harder to do 2 puffs at once.
Oh, nice recovery on those 2 puffs. That's basically how you do that.
One thing worth noting is that, just missing the cycle there for Osse, is that Osse is in here with 2 more hearts than Fantallis is.
Yep.
I missed exactly which 2 hearts he picked up, but it's really nice. Yeah. That could be the difference between those deaths that Fantallis took and didn't take.
Okay, so we got our bow out of swamp. Got our first crystal at 19, almost 20 minutes. 1950 something. But yeah, Fantallis is going to have to be even more careful. He's going to do menu strats, which is slow and annoying, but it works. And if you're not good at the spins, it's definitely the way to go.
If you're an experienced quick swap user, you can probably quick swap strats this.
Yeah, I don't think the quick swap is going to work really well here. I think sticking with the menu here is better.
3 taps.
There's probably some people that are good at quick swap that maybe can do a little better than what we're seeing, but. If you can manage to have a menu where you have a little fewer stuff, maybe then that's, set it up so you have the good quick swap setup. Okay, small key to Ice Palace. Half magic's nice. Small key to Ice Palace, another one you don't necessarily need, but it is definitely a useful one. It does avoid having to pick up some of the pot keys if you don't need them, so definitely a pickup that you want to do if it's right there.
And I believe we were in there anyway, so for other good stuff.
And we're going into Ice Palace. I've seen this a lot this week. These fighter sword or very low percent Ice Palace plays. We don't have a fire rod, so it may be that's we're gonna have to use the bombos. Maybe the fire rod's in here. Fantallis. Ooh, gotta be careful. 1 heart left. One more hammer hit, I think. Yeah, he's got him.
Oh, I'm still not excited about hammer hitboxes on that.
No, not at all. The hookshot's always nice for Ice Palace. Big key to Thieves Town. Oof.
Yes, that gives you some indication as to why they dipped Thieves Town earlier.
Yep. And since we don't have an Ice Palace big key, we need to hit this switch. People differ on whether to hit that switch or not in normal circumstances, but if you don't hit the switch without a big key, then you just won't be able to get to the back. So,
which this is a crystal. This implies that we're getting all the way to the bottom here, which was fairly likely anyway.
Yeah. Fantallis now going and picking up that lamp. I think that was maybe an extra heart container in there too. Oh, no, there wasn't. Maybe it was a heart piece. I'm not sure. Ah, see, there it is. There's those boots. We'll,
So
we'll do an early Ice Palace play with a fighter sword, you know, just so we can have the boots.
Yep. They make runners happy. They also do. They do save a substantial amount of time. But
yeah, Fantallis not doing the Ice Palace play. Yeah, going ahead and going into Saha's closet. Looks like something maybe an iced tea.
$300 is a good pickup.
Ah, there is a fire rod in here.
I'm not convinced by going to Sahasrara's closet just for 300 rupees. Seems like a long way to walk.
Maybe there's something in Zora. But he still doesn't have enough for Zora, so he's still got to get another 50 rupees. 48, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up what's in Zora.
Just don't tell me.
Yep, I won't. I just got in there.
Okay, Osse heading into this cold stare fight. That fire rod's going to help a lot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no Master Sword, no ability to do Sword Beam strats, but half magic means that...
Half magic will give him quite a few fire rod shots, but also... a little surprised he doesn't start with the bombos, but...
Yeah, too impatient to wait for the bombos animation.
Oh, wow. Very nicely done. Using those double hits from the fire rod to take down that cold stare very quickly. That was beautiful.
Even the shepherding with the fighter sword spin was nicely.
Yeah, it was very nicely done. That was just for this low percentage, that was a beautiful Ice Palace from Osse. And he gets his second crystal. And it does look like Fantallis is heading over to Ice Palace now.
So he put off going to Ice Palace to go.
Oh, no. He's not. He's going.
Rupees.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's heading over to the Zora area, so maybe he gets the money in the waterfall, and whatever's in Zora comes after that.
Hopefully, they're not planning on farming drops, which is the other option. Okay,
so he does pick up a piece of heart, gets him up to 5 hearts. That'll help him in the actual fight. Let's see. We've got not Graveyard Lodge, King's Tomb coming.
I think the pilot looked up what the free potion was. Slightly too late here. So
probably either blue or green.
Fantallis coming back in
blue.
To get that. Should have looked that up 20 seconds earlier, but oh well.
But it's blue, so that's good.
Yeah. 20 seconds earlier.
Okay, where is Osse going? Setting up a tree pole, getting those 20 rupees. Okay.
I enjoy the very obvious I need to take damage against the pickle there to get the right tier of tree pole. And using the rarely seen warp over here to get to Ice Rod area.
It's the warp that they use in NMG. Of course, they use it backwards.
I think that's one of the ones that rando players forget about too.
Okay, so there's the money that they're going to use. The 300 rupees sitting there on the Zora ledge. So
that hurts. So Osse's pilot looked up what was in the waterfall ferry before he got here.
Yeah. Yep. Asher's on top of those things. To be fair to Locke, it is entirely possible that Locke was telling Fantallis this, and Fantallis forgot. We've seen that work both ways.
Somebody screwed up. Well, they can argue about it themselves later.
Yeah, there you go.
And it looks like Osse is also signing up for the loop around the Zora area.
Yeah, I think it makes a little more sense to do this than to go all the way to Saha like Fantallis did.
Osse mate.
Osse, you need to get more money first.
Now we get to see the rarely seen in rando.
Oops.
Oopsie text.
I think that's got to be muscle memory. We've seen a lot of muscle memory plays this week, and it's always fun to, the extra chest open. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a runner open that first chest in Swamp Palace just to get a map or a compass or something.
Well, and the number of times you would never do that. You would never come to the Zora area without the cash on hand in random, right? You just wouldn't do it.
Not normally, no.
Do you have to reset Zora?
Apparently you do. That's something I did not know. Apparently you do, and or maybe they're just doing it just in case. It wouldn't surprise me either way. We'll have to ask them afterwards. Osse and Azure know this game really well, so if anybody's going to know that you have to reset that, it's them. And yeah.
Here's the Eastern Big Key on Zora.
Okay, now we're headed back to Death Mountain. This might be the Turtle Rock play. And it makes sense, because now we have a Fire Rod. This will make the pokies in Turtle Rock that much better.
We have a Fire Rod, and we have some boots.
Fire Rod boots, yeah, this is so much better than before.
There's not a lot of running in Turtle Rock compared to some of the dungeons, between the standing around on the chain blocks and the pipes, but those times here.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, the Fire Rod, I think, is the bigger deal, but the boots definitely help. And even just getting up here, running through, this Super Bunny Cave right here. Definitely better to run through this than it is to have to walk all the way.
Yeah. Though, I'm surprised, there must be an item here in Super Bunny, because otherwise, it's marginally faster to use the turtle on top of Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Okay, just a heart container, but I think the little bit of extra time to go through Super Bunny makes sense to pick up those heart containers. There's just not a lot of them you can route in. You typically see runners at about, right now Osse's at 7, and that's about on average, I think, what you end up getting.
7 is a good number. Just it's enough to take 2 hits from a bunch of things. They would probably like to find at least one male along their way as well, but we'll see.
Sometimes those are just not in good places, but we'll see. And Fantallis doing a bomb jump. Oh wait, he hasn't picked up the cane yet.
Yeah. He's got to do this the old-fashioned.
And he already used his potion just there. God, I forget where was that cane I'm just a little surprised he didn't pick that up.
It's in Thieves Town on the bridge.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. They didn't dip Thieves Town yet.
In the compass chest, I think it is. But
yeah, I feel like that's a really good dip to just go ahead and get that cane. It just saves so much time in Ice Palace right now. I think at worst it'd be time neutral for Osse's side. At best, it's going to give him a definite advantage. And one of them, nice when you don't have to get that chest in the Chain Chomps room. Those Chain Chomps will do a ton of damage. I believe they are the highest damage rate enemies outside of Ganon.
Yep. And they're just like cameo appearance over here from Mario.
Yep.
Remembering which pots have arrows and bombs under them is very useful in spoiler, because you don't just get randomly topped up like you do in regular right now.
Okay, we're going to steal this key. We'll see how far we have to go.
Lava chest implied to have nothing.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think if it was the lava chest, you'd be looking for... you wouldn't have picked up the TR big key, unless it was both lava chest and something else.
Yeah, well, it says it can't be everything important in here, but
yeah.
The lava chest just has a piece of heart, so skip that.
Okay, it's not the big chest either. Nor is it Mimic Cave, because we're not going to either one of those locations. And it's not Crystal Roller Room. Which doesn't surprise me, because we got that extra small key.
Yeah.
It's going to be Laser Bridge because it is always Laser Bridge.
Laser
Why
Bridge
should this be any different? Why should it be any different spoiler? Okay, so what important key are we? Because I think, or it could be the flute. Either a flute or an important key down here. Because that's about all we're missing. Okay, what keys are we missing, in fact? Misery Mire, big key.
Misery Mire, big key. And
Is that
GT,
it?
big key.
And there's a flute.
And checking, make sure there's nothing else here before you mirror out.
Okay, so yeah. The proverbial go mode, which is not a term I like to use in Spoiler Log, because, I mean, theoretically, you're in go mode from the beginning, you know, since you have the log in front of you. But all we're missing is that Misery Mire big key.
Oh, so Fantallis does not successfully sword spin the puffs into the corner. It's going to make this much more, both more difficult and slower.
You should be okay, though. Yeah, you had enough magic. That half magic just coming in super handy for both runners.
Yeah, it's only another 5 seconds on the deficit.
Okay, Osse activating that flute. We'll see where he heads next. Heading to 5, so this could be the Eastern Palace play. And maybe there's something in Pod. And maybe there's not anything in Pod, since he's not actually going to the Dark World.
Muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this strongly implies that we're not going to go to Pod today. So.
Which, you know, that's a nice thing.
That's a nice thing. I think very often, we didn't pick up both the Pod big key and a small key earlier. That might have just been they're on the way. We haven't figured out if we need to go there yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, early on, I just think you just pick up all the keys that are, you can go into Kakariko or wherever. If there's a key, you just pick it up, and then if you don't need them, then it's better to get them and not need them than need them and not get them. And we are taking a detour here in Eastern, so maybe we're going to find the Mire big key here.
In fact, a race was lost earlier this week because the reason that a key was necessary wasn't obvious at the time that they were next to it, and they were like, I don't need it. And it turns out that there was a long chain of things that caused a particular key to be necessary, and had to go back for it.
That's rough. And we do see the Misery Mire big key on Osse's side, so that does put him in the proverbial go mode. I'm sure Azure will route in any nice safeties. Might see silver somewhere, a powder, mail upgrades. We do need swords. We do need swords. And speaking of which, of course, obviously, we want tempered.
GT big key.
GT big key. Thank you. I should have known there was something else missing. Blue mail. Okay, got ourselves some blue mail. So now we got that extra safety.
But one nice thing about Spoiler Log is that you often don't need to do the full loop around Eastern Palace. Oops. Suboptimal Igor strats here.
Yeah, that's not exactly how you draw it up.
Presumably, Osse could do that room actually in the dark with no lamp if he had to. So isn't very happy with himself.
No, probably not. Yeah, I've seen Osse do that room a lot, and usually it's a lot better than that. Fantallis will show us how it's done, since he's going to go there next. Fantallis still needs to go up to TR, though. I guess he's going to maybe do that after this. It doesn't really matter at this point. You have to do it before you go to Mire, but he might, he might be trying to set it up so he can just do everything in the Village Outcast, so he could activate that flute and then go straight into Thieves Town.
Yeah. The fluting over to Eastern versus walking saved Shacktool's some small amount of time, but at the cost of one more trip to Kakariko.
Interesting. That's a different quick kill strat I've seen on the Armos Knights. That was very nice.
And there's a few different options, and there's not a lot in it. So
yeah, it's a bit of a hybrid from what I'm used to on that strat. So very nicely done.
That might have been well done screwing up.
It might have been because he fired that extra shot down, which you don't usually see, and he was able to. He may have been just able to recover it. Okay, so now Osse looks like he's going to head towards Thieves Town and actually beat the dungeon.
Yeah. Unfortunately, is now pretty comprehensively, unfortunately for this being a close race at the end, is now pretty comprehensively ahead of Fantallis.
Yep. Yeah, Fantallis having trouble with a couple of deaths in Swamp Palace. And I think the early routing was a little bit cleaner on Shacktool's side.
Yep.
And and picking up that Cane of Samaria. I mean, yeah, it's an extra dip into Thieves Town, but I think it was worth it.
Cane of Samaria is a really good item. And frankly, the front four in Thieves Town are,
they're pretty quick.
Thinking of the front of Thieves Town as a cave with a dungeon behind it is sort of a reasonable way to.
Yep, you actually see that a lot in, it's very rare in a normal blind randomizer that people don't at least go to the first floor of Thieves Town.
Yeah.
Going to the back, that's a whole different story. And nice convenient heart container on the route.
Up to 8. 8 in blue mail.
8 in blue is pretty good. I mean, if there are more on route, I'm sure they'll pick them up, but I mean, that's enough for Osse. Fantallis now going to Thieves Town for the first time, so he'll have to pick up that Cane of Samaria. And Thieves Town in general is just not a good go mode dungeon.
No, you basically have to go everywhere anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's a dungeon that you can do with very little kit, right? Just about anything will damage blind, which is why it's such a bugbear in staying inverted.
And picking up a cape, another extra safety.
Yeah, the cape. I mean, that might just be a goof grab because it's next to the maiden. Almost a lot of runners have a hard time.
Unless Bumper Ledge or Spike Cave have the Ganon's Tower Big Key, the only reason to pick that up is because it's just right there.
It's also surprisingly useful on Ganon.
Oh yeah, it's very useful on Ganon. It's also very useful on Vitreous.
Yeah.
But I don't think you go out of your way to get that cape, but it's right there.
Yeah, I think it's worth 8 or 10 seconds. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that was 8 or 10 seconds, like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, exactly. So, just pick it up.
Exactly. I'll just be curious to see if it actually is required or just that, it's right there thing. Small key to Misery Mire. Don't really need that if we're not picking up anything in Misery Mire. But, you can't skip it because it's on a boss.
Well, and it's... even if you're just going straight to the back, it's nice to have, depending on which way you're going.
Okay, where are we headed next? We are headed to Misery Mire. Gonna do Mire Desert, I think. Thought maybe he'd go do Skull Woods first, but not sure it really makes a huge difference when you have that flute. See if Fantallis also picks up that cape. But by the same argument, I think he will. I mean, it's just right there.
Yeah, the choice between doing Mire first or Desert first is pretty marginal. There's not a lot in it. If there's a hard-on Vitreous or not, or...
I think the consensus is, if you're not already full up on health, you do Desert first, so that you'll have that you'll have Sword Beams for Mire 2. But he was full up on health, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, Fantallis in his blind fight.
Ooh. So
Off script though, but he's still okay.
the sign
He has
of
that
a
cape
bad,
if he needs it.
yeah, but the sign of a bad blind fight is if blind goes, or one of the signs is if blind gets away.
Yep.
So
If he goes down to the bottom.
uh,
He had a key, and that's another reason to pick up that cape. If the blind fight goes wrong, that cape will help you out.
Neo Skidar, the spoiler logs contain all of the factual information, but not the walkthroughs or the.
Yeah, all the locations, but no. If you download a seed with a spoiler from the website, it'll actually have like a not really a playthrough, but like each sphere, like stuff that you can get right away, stuff that you can sphere 2, stuff you can get with the sphere 1 stuff, etc., etc. This does not have that, of course, but it does have all the locations. It also has things like tree pulls and medallion requirements, stun prizes, that sort of thing. Yeah, Osse gonna go ahead and equip that cape. It's gonna pay off right here.
Yeah. Especially with half magic.
Yeah, you gotta get that last little eyeball first. Now you can use the bow on. Yeah, this is where we shout outs to Blue Mail. I don't know that he survives that. Oh, and there's our tempered sword.
Yeah, it's kind of impolite of the game to put the third sword on one of the places you would kind of like to have the third sword.
Yeah, exactly. And Fantallis, meanwhile, is doing Skullwoods before Misery Mire, which makes sense. He's right in the same area. My guess is Osse and Azure are doing Skullwoods later, so they could have that tempered sword for the moth fight.
Yeah, let's see where Buddies gets out of this.
Yeah, maybe there's something nice here. Maybe something here to make make something in Misery Mire easier.
I mean, hope so.
Okay, use hammer strats here. I'm gonna switch to the fire rod. I always like using the fire rod on Moth. It kind of brings me back to when I played this game the first time. I thought you had to use the fighter rod on him. Like the game gives you the fire rod in that dungeon, so of course, isn't that what you're supposed to use to kill him? Fortunately, that's not actually the case.
Speaking of boss fights that are they can get away from you, this moth fight is.
Okay, but he gets it.
Yeah.
It was a rough one, but he got through it. Unfortunately, just for a piece of heart. Osse making very quick work of Landmolus in the meantime.
Astor thinks that everything's all tickety-boo. No items possibly missing. He's done his work, so welcome to our chat.
Just gotta get that GT big key. I'm gonna guess it's somewhere in GT or on path up there.
Can chat, feel free to ask him anything.
Okay, now Osse gonna go kill Moth, and Fantallis is gonna go get up to Totorock and get his flute.
And one of the lesser-known things you can use the restream for, not just checking in on how your opponents are doing and giving feedback to your runner, but also learning which items you need to be good.
Yeah. I'm gonna venture a guess that Azure's just pulling everybody's leg, that he knows where the GT big key is, and that he's already told Osse where it is. And again, I'm guessing it's either in GT, because we haven't gone out. Neither runner has gone out of their way to pick anything up. That both are pretty much beelining it in these areas.
Answering Eternized Dragon's question. Yes, watching the restream is allowed. This is 100% live. No stream delay, no nothing. The runners are allowed to turn up and yak with us. They're allowed to give information to the runners. We've even had pilots in the interview before the race is even over.
Yeah.
the one Swallowwood small key that we picked up earlier saves having to kill a Gibdo in that room.
Yeah, but Osse taking a bit of damage just to make sure he doesn't have his sword beams in the moth fight. Mothula being one of the few bosses that actually gets damaged by sword beams, Blind being the other.
And on Blind, it's fine, and on Moth, less so.
Yeah, and yeah, you see the difference in moth fights with that tempered sword, as opposed to what Fantallis had to go through with the Master Sword.
Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced. In fact, I'm 100% not convinced by We're Buddies' decision to do Swamp Palace when they did.
Or Skullwoods.
Sorry.
Yeah,
like
part of
third
it.
Time this week I've made that mistake.
It really comes down to that getting that cane early, so you could get that. In the case of Osse and Azure, getting that cane made their Ice Palace better, made their Swamp Palace better. Allowed them to allow them to do Turtle Rock earlier. Allowed them to do Mire before Skullwoods to get that tempered sword for Skullwoods. I mean, I could see where you wouldn't want to double dip Thieves Town if you don't have to, but I just think that worked out much better.
Yeah.
So we'll do kind of what's done in the spoiler log tournament. Putting numbers in chat doesn't make a whole lot of sense because wherever that big key is, they're just going to go straight to it. It's going to be somewhere, if it really is in GT basement. But you can put your guesses onto what actual room it's going to be in. I already see a tile room guess.
I remember that GT is not the only place that hasn't been checked yet.
That is true.
There are other places it could be. Also, little known tree pull location. This is Osse showing off, I think, because he sure doesn't need those 40 rupees.
Nah, that's Azure's girlfriend, Polar Bear Bunny, likes to get that little pull. Okay. So we are opening up GT, and let's see if we go in or if there's something else we need to do to get that big key. Okay, that's just rude. Ice Rod and GT big key on Trinex from chat.
Oh wait, what's this?
Oh, going into the Tower of Hera. Okay, so Hera GT big key. And we're going to do a Hera pot to get it. It's kind of funny because this is a really common play to do Hera right before GT as your last crystal. But this time, Hera's not a crystal.
I liked sitting through the GT animations and then mirroring.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. So I'm guessing we're killing Moldorm for a reason here.
Fortunately for all of our sanity, and in fact it would have been routed differently.
There it is.
The big key is here and not on the green pendant.
That would be bad. This is a blue pendant anyway.
Yeah.
Green pendant would be really rude because then we would have to find that ice rod and another TR small key.
Yeah.
Okay, meanwhile, let's see. Fantallis can go activate that flute so he can do Mire and Desert, and then he'll head up here as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Fantallis.
Oh, are we going to get some silvers here? Because we're heading down. Oh, it's just a heart container that we're not getting.
Nah, we don't need that anymore.
Oh, we need the small key. Never mind. We haven't picked up a small key yet, so. It is important to pick. We have had runners start to go up the tower without picking up that small key. So good that Osse and Azure remembered it.
Yeah, it's if no GT small keys sort of fall into your lap on the way here, it'll do. Slight goof up here on the mimic route. Very tight.
Very nice mimics too, though.
Yeah, got the hard one, no problem.
So you've got the spoiler. Where's the Hera big key?
Somewhere terrible. I realized it wasn't necessary, and I stopped looking it up. No.
Because that would be pretty awful if you had to go get that. Here, I got the spoiler now.
Yeah, sorry. Map chest in Desert Palace.
Oh, goose. Not the worst ever, but...
At least it's not behind the small key. It is behind the small key. The other thing that we're not going to see is Silvers, which was on Left Side Swamp.
Ooh, nope, not going left side swamp for Silvers.
And key number, sword number 4 is also not going to turn up today.
No, it's on with the book in the TR roller room. So that would have, yeah, no, we're not, no, that's way too far out of the way.
We're not doing any of that. No.
Nope. Meanwhile, Osse, making quick work of the gauntlet, is already past the wizard rooms. He's only at 3 hearts, but he does have if I'm not mistaken, he does still have a blue bottle just in case.
I believe so. And enough hearts to make that blue bottle worth something.
Yep. We'll have to get the key here.
Oh.
I guess he really wants that boomerang.
Yeah, I would say it would help with menuing, but quick swap is on, so I have no legitimate excuse for Osse picking up. Locke has joined us in chat. Ask all of the awkward questions. Yeah, so at this point, Fantallis is basically 1 GT behind. Is a lot. You know, all of the small execution things we've been pointing out through the seed, plus others we didn't mention, plus as Tracy's been pointing out, the cane routing difference and those unfortunate deaths in Swamp. I think all of the things I can think of that have put them behind, but that's more things that can put you behind.
And to be fair, Osse's execution is just really good.
Yep.
So there's definitely an execution gap here, and Osse's, except for that, the Igor room in Eastern Palace didn't go quite according to plan.
yeah, there's been a couple of 1-second mistakes that Osse made, but sucks. Nobody's going to task a spoiler log race to figure out what the optimal time is. At least I hope not.
So you're just going to go ahead and use that blue bottle now, just to, might as well be safe.
There's an argument to burning down your magic with the cape first. But,
yep.
Or in fact, an argument for already having the cape on during the end of phase 2, maybe the most dangerous part of the whole fight. But it's torch glitch. With the silvers out of the way, we're going to have to cover through a whole bunch of spins here, but. Did I miss up? Yeah, I did. I apologize. Something else was swamp left. Silvers were in here. They were in the basement in the bad chest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely not getting that. Okay,
Sorry,
and
misread my copy of the spoiler log.
it's not hard to do. Okay, Osse finishing up with an official race time of 58:20. Get your GGs in chat for Osse.
I will invite him to come talk.
And we'll see if we can get Osse and Azure into the Discord to go ahead and chat with them. And I guess it'd be okay if Locke came in too at this point. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are for that though.
I'll get all of them, but I don't have Azure's.
They should have gotten a. Osse will have gotten the invite, so he can send that. Should be able to send that, and if not, I can do it.
If you have Locke and Azure, you should invite them.
Yeah, I can get Azure. I can't get Locke very easily. And we have Osse joining us. GG's, Osse.
Thank you, GG.
If we could get you to invite your co-pilot, we get handy messages to invite you, but...
There we go, I just did.
Alright, perfect.
And there he is, joining us, Azure and Osse. Very nicely done.
Thank you.
And once again, you didn't have to do Turtle Rock. Or actually, again, you had to do Turtle Rock, and it still wasn't a crystal.
Yeah, this was like 5 or 6 times in a row.
I mean, you didn't even have to step foot in pod, so, you know.
That was nice. I spent like 3 or 4 minutes while he was like doing a kind of a dungeon rush, trying to wrap pod keys. Then I realized we didn't need any.
Yeah, then you actually looked in pod and you were like, wait a minute, none of this stuff matters. The thing that really impressed Tracy was early Kane, which made the rest of your race much easier. Was that an easy choice, or
early Kane of Samaria?
Yeah, you guys went and got the cane out of Thieves Town right away, so, because it meant you doubled up at Thieves Town. Your opponents chose not to pick up the cane, just made their Ice Palace a lot more difficult. And
yeah, I think they got the cane about 20 minutes later than you did.
Okay, so they got hookshot, but they didn't go in for the cane right away. Okay, because I wanted to route into that area to... mostly, I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do with Darkhold yet, but I knew there was useful stuff there, so had him go there, and then was like, okay, cane, T-Rock key, pod key, sure, why not? T-Rock big key, hookshot, that stuff all makes sense, and then go from there.
Okay.
And Osse, that cold stare fight was really good.
Yeah, I got a couple different setups for how to do cold stare fights.
Depending on your equipment.
Yeah, so here I'd have magic fire rods, and if it's a fire rod based fight, then you knock them left, and you get triple hits with fire rod splat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the low percent strat currently.
Right. It's nice when you fall into some established bit of kit, because then lots of people have thought about it. So 5822, good time. What was the hardest routing decision you had to make, Esther?
How to deal with East Palace Big Key on Zora. Because the best money sources were at Saha and Armos, and just like stuff that you wanted to have it already for. And Eastern had Sword and Mail, and did I have something else? It had something else, I think.
It had a key, I think.
Had a key, but I don't remember where to. Let me look.
May have been Meyer. I feel like it was Meyer.
Yeah, it's the Meyer bid.
Yeah, okay.
So I did so I did enjoy Osse trying to buy the Zora item, which you don't see very often. Do you have to actually reset that whole area when you do that? Because I saw that's what you did.
not something done before?
We weren't sure, so
Yeah, I
Better
think
be
it was a good
safe.
call, just in case, yeah.
I knew
That's
to
fair.
get the money first. I just muscle memoried up there.
I am going to invite your competition. Oh, he's here.
Fantallis did choose to forfeit. Looks like he's having trouble with the Hera pot at this point. Going back for the big key instead just doesn't seem worth it. And Fantallis joining us. GG's.
Hello. Yeah, GG's.
That was rough for you.
No, we're having a little party over here.
GG.
Yeah, GG's. That was. We were commenting that if this was a just a regular old key sanity seed, that would have been rough. But
Yeah, it's amazing which key seeds are good spoiler seeds and which seeds are good regular rando seeds. They're not the same seeds.
Yeah.
yeah, this one was mainly just running around.
Yeah, one of the things that you all did differently, Azure and Osse went and picked up that cane in Thievestown early, and you didn't. I feel like that just made things a little bit tougher on you both. You lose a little time in Swamp Palace, so that's not that big a deal in Swamp, but it definitely, I think it hurt you in Ice Palace a little bit.
Oh, caneless ice. Yikes.
Yeah, we thought it was fine because I had picked up that extra key earlier on, but I don't know if it's that fine. It's still a bit of a trek down there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how the icebreakers changed the way we all think of Ice Palace now.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And the early-ish Skull Woods play. Welcome, Luck.
Hello,
I'm glad I got.
Hi, Law.
I'm here.
Good for you.
We were surprised by a couple of choices. So actually going back to the routing in of Zora, you guys both did Houlihan and went to Saha in pursuit of money. Whereas I think Shackel's digging game mostly farmed the tree poles.
The tree poles, yep.
Yeah.
There was money on the tree poles?
Yeah, it was a big 20 tree pole. I don't recall
Oh,
which one
man.
it was.
It was tier 2.
It was tier 2.
Yeah.
Here you are. You're like, oh, all your big 20s are in Cannon's Tower.
It's not like it was completely free, but
Well, you both end up picking up the Zora Ledge money to actually finally pay for it. But at least Locke and Fantallis, you didn't try and spend the money before you had it.
True.
Which Osse did. So.
The only thing I'm mad at, if I had sent them into Cackwell to get the 20 and then the extra money in there, heart container, he would have been fine. He wouldn't have needed
that's
extra
true.
300. Cackwell would have had just enough for him.
Yeah, because like you were 450 something, I think, by the
Yeah.
time you got over
470.
there. Yeah. 470.
One 20, so he needed 30 rupees.
Trying to count all the money that you need in a spoiler log race is garbage. It's no.
It really is. It's
Like,
hard.
there's no. You're like, oh, I need 500 for, and then 100 for the. You should no. There's no. It's
At least
stupid.
At least you didn't have to pay a monkey.
Yeah,
Yep, that's right.
Subtract
No pod today.
another. Yeah, then the other stupid thing is one of your 300s is hiding in the same stupid place that you need the big key for Eastern Palace to. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
that sucked. I also did not like that one of the 300. There was a 300 in Sahas, and we didn't have flute to make it good to get beforehand.
Yeah.
Although
you know.
actually, we could
I
have.
was- So as
Go
a
ahead.
commentator, I was real sad for But We're Buddies walking to Saha to get 300 rupees. Like, oh, that just hurts.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
there's also the 300 that's behind the Eastern big key that Zora has on the boss.
Yeah.
That was really annoying.
There's just money everywhere that's behind this one key.
Yep.
I should have had us go to Turtle Rock before getting Eastern big key. Then we could have probably gotten the 300 from Saha easily. But
So we were surprised you didn't go to Turtle Rock on your first trip up there. You sort of baited us into getting all the, as commentators, you accumulated all the stuff you needed for both East Death Mountain and Dark East Death Mountain.
Yeah, because the
and then,
way
and
you
then
guys
you
were
bailed
routing.
on the Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
we didn't have Turtle Rock Big Key from
Okay.
Sea House yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you just picked up enough of the stuff that you totally did, because you got Kane from.
It was behind Hammer. Like first trip was to get Hammer from Hera, and we needed that to get to Dark World.
Yeah, and of course, at the time we didn't know what it was, where the location Turtle Rock was, so didn't know if you needed the big key or not, because we just don't know what that. We didn't know. At least I didn't look
on Laser Bridge. Always Laser Bridge.
Yeah, you're right. It is always Laser Bridge, isn't it?
Oh, guess what else was on Laser Bridge? It was. Oh wait, no, never mind. It was Desert Small Key. But okay, so.
But wasn't there something you sold behind it? It was like, oh right, it was Desert Small Key. Was it the Hera Big Key that was?
Yes.
No, actually,
right, or something stupid like that.
Right side desert has Ice Rod, actually.
Oh yeah, it does.
But
oh boy.
But no, the Desert Small wasn't the important one. Desert Map Chest had Hera Small Key for the solvers in the basement. And actually, I was looking at the log, and I was looking at the bow in there, and I was thinking that was going to be our first bow. And then I was like, oh, the key's in desert. And then I looked at how we were going to be able to get to desert, and I was just like, okay, that's not happening.
No, not happening.
I was like, where's this other bow at? This other bow is going to be a little less awful than this one.
Oh, there were two reasons, actually, that we didn't go to T-Rock right away. And one was I was thinking that we were going to need to book in Roller Room to get to the bow in desert. But it turned out we didn't need it at all because the fleet was also in there. But like all of the desert access was in Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then it turns out that most of the desert was a quick trip to Lendl.
Yeah, didn't actually need anything at all.
Did you even go in the front? I don't think so.
No, I don't think you did.
That's a nice day. So I want to ask, but we're buddies, about the choice to go to Skull Woods when you did.
He was in the area.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was literally he's in the area. Why not?
Yeah, I mean it's not a huge difference, but definitely a much slower fight with the Master Sword. You survived it.
Yeah.
But if you go watch Osse's fight, yeah, it's pretty impressive. Pretty quick.
I'm blaming he didn't use his hammer like a good boy.
I did use my hammer, and then he went in the wrong direction. He was like, "Okay, I'll go hang out in the bottom wall." Once he does that, you're
fine.
Yeah, moth fights are so variable. Sometimes they just go really quick and great, and then sometimes they just fall off the rails. And sometimes the one that falls off the rails will be followed by the really quick one when you go back in the second time. So
yeah,
that's moth.
I mean, there's a fast, consistent hammer fight that I just haven't done in a very, very long time. But it's supposed to start above and to the left of him. I think that was Futon who worked that out ages ago. But it's also slightly variable. Like he might not get a fourth hit on him.
Yep.
So, but whatever.
And Moth has a janky hitbox. The hammer has a janky hitbox.
Mm-hmm.
Not wanting to put the time in to learn janky hitbox strats. I can't blame you. I think we've made you guys suffer about this seed enough. So, are you guys looking forward to Mystery Week?
Oh yeah, I get to finally race.
I like mysteries.
All right.
I like the idea of mystery.
Does that mean you
it's
are
going to be
or not
interesting. I believe you two are both racing, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Osse?
Yeah. Me and Esther next week again.
And Fantallis, you and Locke, which one are you both racing as well, or just one of you?
Yeah, both of us are. Chelsea doesn't like mystery
because of the fact that it can end up being, what is it, Randomizer?
I think it's both Randomizer and maybe the entrance too.
Fair. I feel like
I love self-torture. So
I rolled a practice seed the other day, and I got inverted all dungeons cross keys.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
Which
fine.
Okay, it's really bad because you have to get on top of Hyrule Castle because both of the goal sign posts are there in inverted, and you can't mirror to it because it's inverted. So you have to find the connector to get there, and only then did I find out that it was all dungeons.
That's fun.
And then I couldn't find in Swamp. I'm pretty sure my Swamp Small Key was on Race Game, and I couldn't find the connector that goes there. And you can't mirror to that one either in inverted.
And Osse learned today that in entrance, it doesn't tell you whether it's fast scanning or not.
Sure
You
doesn't.
just have to guess.
It sure doesn't.
Does it actually do you have to find out by fighting Ganon?
Yeah, you pop in and he's like, "You're not done yet."
Oh my goodness.
You complain to AA, and that might get changed eventually. All right. So, chat, you've now heard a preview of the complaining about mystery seeds that we'll get next week. Mystery week starts in about 24 hours. As with every week, there will be.
Yeah, we do actually have a few games on the schedule already. Oh, we have, and there might be more to come. So this may or may not actually be the first one. But we do have a 9 o'clock race already set up between Spear Affinity and Seal W GFE versus Swerb, and several races on Tuesday starting at 1 o'clock. I'll just read off the first two. Major Mistakes versus Triple Dino Disaster, Tito versus Yoshi. And at 2:10, we have They Vetoed Our Acronym versus Old Swagger Jackson, Jem versus Walter, and then several others to come. And of course, keep an eye out on the schedule, because I'm sure there'll be more scheduled pretty soon. Hoping it'll be a little more spread out this week rather than the marathon of races that we had on Friday and Saturday this weekend.
And, all the people in chat that wanted to see retro, there's a little bit of retro entrance or inverted or all the fun modes that they decided were too hard for the league. You get to choose one of them at random. It'll be great. All the races are going to be great.
I'm excited.
Same.
Well, definitely from a viewer standpoint, Mystery Week is a very exciting week.
Oh, I love it. For me, it's the best week. But all right, you guys, any other complaining and/or commentary you'd like to give before we cut the stream?
Nah.
And on that note, have a good night, everybody.
All right. Before we cut it off, I do want to thank a few people. First of all, Excalibur for joining me at the last minute. It was a lot of fun. Our tracker, can't say enough about our trackers. 2D Tones, pushing the buttons behind the scenes, and of course, all of SpeedGaming and all the organizers of the Randomizer League. I definitely want to shout out all those people for putting this on and doing a great job. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So Excalibur, why don't you take us home?
I already tried to do that. Have a good night, everybody. It's almost mystery week.